Hello, everyone, and welcome to Eternal Mooncast, the streaming show all about Sailor Moon fan theories. We cover everything from the prominent to the obscure in the Mooniverse. I'm your host, Michi, with my special co-host for this month, Loki. Joining us tonight is Radski, also known as Alexis. All right. Alexis is a wardrobe and costume designer and wig stylist. They basically never stopped playing dress up. They started watching Sailor Moon at a very young age because their sister and they would rent VHS tapes from Blockbuster Video. Specifically, this is their earliest Sailor Moon memory. They cosplay and have been for 10 years. And aside from Sailor Moon, they love D&D, Barbie, the new movie, and the old ones, Lord of the Rings, and the like. Welcome, Radski.
Hello.
Welcome. Yeah.
Welcome. But first, a quick Mooney disclaimer. We would like to remind everyone that these are just our personal opinions. We do not in any way represent Toei or the Sailor Moon intellectual property, and we invite you to join us when we stream live on Twitch or join our Discord discussions. Tonight, we delve into Sailor Moon R, the movie, aka The Promise of the Rose.
Which now I want to fight you too. I am so upset about that title.
And I apologize, I'm going to be eating.
But we discovered that the name we grew up knowing, Promise of the Rose, is not the official movie. It is just Sailor Moon R, the movie.
Lies and
but if you're like us and you got the VHS from Blockbuster, it said Promise of the Rose on the bottom.
I can see the cover.
Meets in the font exactly, the white print outlined in pink.
They changed it on IMDb now.
They changed it everywhere.
You're so betrayed, Misi.
I am betrayed by this movie. I'm so upset. And just prove that I'm not crazy to the other viewers out there. Look, it's tiny, tiny lettering. Sailor Moon, the movie, R, Promise of the Rose. So I'm not crazy for the title.
There's a reason that I put it as just Sailor Moon R, the movie. I did that for all of the movies, by the way, because those are all of their official titles, but we'll get into that.
Oh, so we're going to have this argument 3 times over. Got it. I am not happy right now. Hearts and Ice and no. Except for the last one, the Reenie movie.
You mean it's not Black Dream Home?
No, it's not.
That was a mistake. That was a mistake right there in naming, though. Okay, so now that I've had my moment, let's go back into what the actual show order is. So, a big question I actually even had whenever I started rewatching Sailor Moon is, where in the world is this in the timeline?
I've never been able to figure that out.
Usagi and Mamo were together?
Question mark?
Are
together? Question mark. Because,
I always thought as they were together. Early in their relationship, but that they were together.
Right. But also, with the whole Botanical Gardens thing and all of that, and him being like, I don't want to kiss this chick. Why? She's your girlfriend, dude.
Yeah. Well, hey,
this is probably because of the saturation of the 90s dub in my mind, but I always just assumed that he didn't want to do it in public. That it was like he could tell the other friends were watching them and was like, no, this is sus. I'm not here for this.
I couldn't possibly do it. I'm so shy. My name is Mamoru.
Just he was a prude.
Oh my gosh, it's Beebles?
Hi, Bebo.
But that's the funniest thing is that I'm like, dude, you're in college. Why are you so embarrassed? You love
Maybe
her.
That's the reason.
He's embarrassed about the age gap in public.
Fair. Oh my god! But and the way they do it is it's so Plum Honey too. It's just so funny. It's because I remember he looks to the left, he looks to the right, he leans in like he's doing something real big, and then he the most. What are you doing? You're supposed to be the only cool guy in the entire show.
No, but he is lame, and that's why I love him.
His wardrobe.
He is the smartest himbo.
Wardrobe that I want to steal.
Truly. No, I just even when I was watching it when I was little, not that little, but even when I was watching it when I was younger, I was like, aren't they supposed to be together? Why is he being weird about it? And then because of that, the whole gay undertone for the movie made more sense to me than anything else.
The gay undertone is undeniable.
Truly.
Like, I want to know how I missed it as a kid, but
Even in the 90s.
Oh, no,
dub,
I picked
it's
up on it.
undeniable.
I picked up on it. I was like, that's gay.
Yeah.
I was deep in the closet, okay? It was a time in the 90s.
But yeah.
But again, to speak to the saturation of the 90s dub in my mind, of thinking that they're together when they're outside and Usagi gets shoved by Fiore, the 90s dub is going, okay, I need my pumpkin to myself now. And like, that's very much insinuating, like, okay, like these people are like have pet names for each other, but it's also the 90s dub.
True.
Do you guys, I'm going to share your everything right now. And I hate this, by the way. So the only reason that I can speak on is because I literally just watched the new dub yesterday. Like I finished of this movie. And it's not Fiore.
What is it?
What?
Fiore.
Oh, Fiore.
And I was like, I'm sorry. What?
The gayer version.
It's
Fiore.
I love it though. It's him. I'm sorry, but can we also just talk real quick? What was this outfit?
No, stop!
Iconic.
I love it so much. I love it so much.
What do you mean? Do you have something against the fucking Cavaliers? UVA?
I guess I'm like, you can't any of his outfits to me because I'm gonna defend them all.
It's just so much. I don't know what it's this combo of mustard and this deep purple, and he's just rocking it. But then the red shoes.
I associate him with deep purple. I also blame the 90s dub for that, but that's the third movie. That's another episode.
That's later. But oh my god! But sorry, I just had to show that because I'm always like, Mamo, that outfit.
No, see, I'm gonna defend that because listen, there are some really god fucking awful Senshi outfits.
Oh, there are.
They are absolutely awful, but people still love them because they're so ugly.
No, it's true. It's really true.
So I will die on that hill.
All right, fine. All right, I will. So we decided. Did we even get to where it is in the franchise?
Not really.
We just said we threw up our hands and said we didn't know. Chibiusa knows Usagi's her mom.
Yes.
Right. Like that. So that
and Luna P is still there.
And Luna P is still there.
So that means she didn't kill Luna P yet.
I think it's that weird, like, limbo-esque area between
kind of what I kind of filled in the blanks to be of this must be just a weird limbo space lull, like between the events of Black Moon.
And also thinking back on it, probably the reason that Mamoru is I don't want to kiss her in public is probably because of Chibiusa. Because just found out that that's his kid.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's very fair. And we all know that she has very big feelings when it comes to Mamo.
That's a kind word.
She's got parental issues.
That's a kind word. I just reread that part of the manga.
It's like, oh god, please no, please no.
It's all very cringe.
Oh, it is. Okay, so something that is a little treat for everybody tonight is I managed to track down the trailers for the movie, but I tracked it down for the Toonami and for the Viz dub.
Damn.
I know, I did some work, but I think that this is going to be a really interesting watch because the way Toonami does it is so different. It's hilarious.
I love Toonami trailers.
I grew up without Toonami, so this will be new to me.
I stand Tom.
Yeah, I don't have cable, so.
Oh, okay. So this will be a brand new experience. Get ready for the cheese and corniness. It's so good. Why are you not? Come on, Toonami. All right.
The like screen blur that's on the thumbnail.
Right?
The human race will be sucked dry and become extinct.
Not if I can help it! We're surrounded!
Our world is in peril. The Cassanian blossom is alive to sow the seeds of hatred and bring forth a brood of evil. Seaman scouts are here.
I'm sorry. I'm defensive on that.
That made me laugh.
I don't even know how to feel about that.
The editing on that is just it's so funny.
And it's the tomboys. Like, it's the literal tomboys.
The editing on that is pure early 2000s.
Yup.
Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is early 2000s.
Look at every action scene.
But, like, that's
Everything dramatic.
you know what?
Hyper cut it together.
But what makes me mad is that they actually did it where they cut the scenes from the scouts fighting in the beginning of the movie and the enemies from the ending of the movie, so it looked a heck of a lot more epic than it actually was.
And the whole, like, their lives, like, that happened so much. That happened so early in the fight.
So early.
But also, like, I gotta give it to Toonami because they really, like, they had a brand. They had a
Yeah.
brand, and their brand was, first of all, Tom, and then Tom 2. And then, secondly, Outer Space. That was their brand.
Yeah. And they made it work.
So they put their entire tenuses into it. So I really, like, it's cheesy. It's watching it now, it's awful. Like, you gotta give it to them. They stuck to it.
And even the ending line, every rose has its thorns. After that, like what are we in?
Exactly where we are meant to be.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. And then in striking contrast to it, I have the extended trailer for Promise, or I guess Sailor Moon R, the movie. The Promise of
Which I would like to mention that Tom called it Sailor Moon R, the movie.
I know. That made me mad.
Literally the only thing that calls it Promise of the Rose is the fucking VHS.
And it stays rent-free in my head. All right. But this is the extended trailer.
Some of the, like, stills on those, so good.
So burnt into my brain.
One day I'll come back. It's me.
So a striking 180.
Yeah.
That was so good. I don't know how to feel. Like, this is Selena's like, I can't watch the dub.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
No, so here's the thing. I was actually trying to, first of all, I was like, yeah, I'll watch the Japanese version because I don't think I've ever seen the Japanese version. Then I was like, no, if I can find the original dub, I'll watch that. Couldn't fucking find it.
No, it's gone.
It's not on the internet. They
That's
wiped
why
it.
I have it on DVD.
But that, in my opinion, makes it look way more hyped up than it actually is, even more so than the Toonami one.
I
The
would
Toonami
agree.
one at least is like,
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah.
Ba-boom. We're done. And this one is like, a friendship blooming dangerous.
Sorry, I couldn't.
Please. It's not that serious.
Are we calling this like an awakening? Like, I'd feel better with that.
We're calling it something. Even Usagi was like, is my boyfriend gay?
Even in the 90s, like, they're like, I don't know, they did seem to be some sort of connection between the two of them, like verbatim.
Yeah, so the whole, like, Fiore, he will forever be Fiore. I cannot bring myself to say Fiore. The whole, like, them first meeting at the botanical garden and Fiore, like, tenderly cupping Mamoru's hand, and literally Usagi is right here being like, still nothing, Michi. And then, so here's the other thing. When did the whole Ann and Alan portion come?
Very good. I was going to get into that when we were talking about Fiore's background a little bit more, but that's because they would recognize him in his alien form if they had done which that's also a whole thing because that's not technically canon.
Is it canon? Like, you guys
No.
hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, now we can hear you.
Yay. But yeah, that's the thing. Is that, are we counting that as canon, or are we counting the Doomtree siblings as, like, like VHS, and if you got lucky, a DVD?
In terms of, like, deep lore, I could draw some conclusions that, like, Fiore is from that planet. When the Doom Tree like died, like there was just a bunch of wayward space babies from that alien race.
See,
Like
I
that's kind of what
Just Clark
I
Kent
was
that
like.
shit.
That
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. They do like hint in Sailor Moon R in for the Doom Tree twin. Sorry, it was one cover, I swear, that they called them the Doom Tree twins, and it stuck in my head for the rest of
no,
my life.
I also know them as the Doom Tree twins, even though I don't think they're twins.
They're not twins. We figured that out
They're not.
during the last episode we did on them, but I still call them twins, and I apologize to everyone in the Sailor Moon universe. It's just
Sibling.
Yeah, I think I was messaging Michi. I think I referred to them as the Doom Tree siblings, mostly because I can't spell ein and on consistently to save my life.
What a mood.
They're forever going to be Anne and Alan. I will not
Yeah.
take any other criticisms. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But real quick before we get super deep into Fiore. Sorry, I'm gonna have to practice that because otherwise I'm gonna get it wrong. So Fiore, okay. The other part I wanted to bring up about Usagi and Mamo's relationship is whenever he dies for the first time, I think. Well, not die, gets close to death. And
Gets the stabby.
Yeah, this moment.
Oh God, yeah, this is intense.
Yeah, so real quick, just wanted to play this one.
I can't lose him. He's the only friend I've ever had.
Okay, I think the rest is just her crying.
Probably.
Something about the old dub just hits in the right way.
Okay, so I
that's
can actually
nostalgia.
tell you part of the reason why it hits so good. First of all, nostalgia. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
But secondly, in the new dub, that like her whole thing where like she's black and red and she goes, oh, the old one, she doesn't do that. Doesn't do that. She's like
Really?
She's like in stun, like she's like shocked. Like
yeah, it's very
there's
like
no,
stunned silence, like
which
girl
I
clutch.
like.
I prefer the old one. She's like, she can't fucking believe it. It's not butter.
Oh my god. But Radski, what's your thought on it? Why you defend it?
Wait, I'm confused. So which 90s dub had which? The silence
90s
or-
dub had her going, no, because the one that we just watched was the 90s dub.
Okay, yes. And there's a new one you're saying is silent.
The new one, she kind of gasps.
Okay,
it's
no,
like-
I don't like the gasp. If it was just the straight silence, that would be something. I prefer the 90s. That's usually just where I'm always going to default because I'm like a nostalgic person.
Me too.
But I think it works. Like that it's the she's like breathing it out when she says no. And that's like
Also, props to that voice actress whose name I can't think of right now. Her crying,
oh, it's so good.
It's good. It's so good.
so fucking good.
She's a really goofy voice for Usagi sometimes, and she sometimes sounds old lady-ish, but she is my favorite dub actress for Usagi.
I think I would actually probably prop her up as one of my favorite dub actors, period, because her emotional scenes are actually emotional,
Mhm.
which is one of the things that I absolutely like. And people can come after me for this. I don't give a fuck. Japanese voice actors, seiyus, cannot cry. They
What do you
cannot cry. Their crying is always fake as fuck. And people can come after me for that. Y'all can be mad at me. I don't care. But literally every single time that I have to listen to a seiyu cry, I'm like, maybe don't do that. Maybe don't do it. Because in especially the older dubs, but generally in American dubs, they put like their whole like chest heaving of crying into it.
Yes.
Generally in seiyu work, it's very like, oh, and I'm like
You're just screaming.
did you shit yourself? What happened? Did you stub your toe? Their whole cryo
Cryo sleep.
exactly.
Well, I don't know,
So-
but there's something about that clip where when crying, she is crying in such a general way that I do believe that her love of her life has been taken.
Which, okay, but that was a perfect segue into what I wanted to get into next of talking about kind of their relationship in context of this fight. Like, for
Yes.
me, I was always like, okay, I feel like this takes place like not too far after like they've all gotten their memories back in R, because the parallel of Tuxedo getting taken by the Dark Kingdom in season 1 and this has always been incredibly similar to me. Like Kunzite taking his injured body away and Fiore taking his injured body away are like almost
It's almost
identical.
1-to-1 in injury.
Yeah. So like I've always just been like, oh, this is just like a terrible PTSD parallel for her. She finally gets the love of her life back, and like things aren't all have gone to shit yet. Like, especially with the 90s dub and like the pain in her voice when she's crying. Like, it was so real. I remember crying to that scene when I was younger.
Me too. The one thing that I do enjoy about the new dub is I don't remember where it is. It's either when they're on the playground, I think it is. But it's when Mars is like trying to comfort her or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, playground. If I'm remembering correctly, that's when it happened. But in the new dub, she says "not again." So yeah, and that I was like,
Oh my god. The continuity.
Please.
The continuity in the feel.
so that's the one thing that like in the new dub, I was like, ooh, I got chills, y'all. What's up?
Imagine the trauma of losing someone not only recently, but in your past life, and then losing them for a third time, probably within a very short sequential sequence. That's a
And
lot.
remembering every single moment of that.
All 3.
And especially when you think about like she's sitting there crying. And again, I'm going to keep referencing the 90s one because it's the last one I watched before we all sat down. She's like crying and going, I can't do it. I'm not strong enough. I'm sorry. I'm a wimp that needs protection.
No.
She says that she's a coward in the new one.
But it's sad.
Like, as somebody who is not, Usagi is not my favorite character by far. I genuinely did feel a deep emotional connection with her in this movie because her circumstances were so understandable. Like, they did a very good job of doing beat per beat why you should care.
I think this movie is probably why Usagi is one of the characters, like, who is one of my favorite characters and who I relate to the most. Because this story was like seared into my brain as a kid, and it is such a sympathetic storyline. Like, even for a young kid watching it, like, I cried. Lost my train of thought a little bit. But no, yeah, it definitely, I think, just speaks to that, like,
It's got very powerful visuals in it.
yes.
Because I feel like if you were to just turn off the subtitles and turn off the audio, you would still get the plot. more or less.
Yes, definitely.
And it would still be just as fucking heart-wrenching
Yes.
as it is with everything. Also, tape player, hi.
Hi, tape player.
This is not my favorite movie. My favorite movie is the third one. Come at me for it. Whatever. This is not my favorite movie, but it is the movie that I remember. The second movie is forgettable for me.
Which we'll fight about that next week because that's my
That's fine.
favorite.
Like, it's pretty, but it's forgettable. So I think just the raw emotional power of this movie is the reason that I enjoy it as much as I do.
No, it's definitely different. And then why don't we finally get into the villain of the hour? Because there's a lot, I think, to unpack with Fiore. Pretty forgettable.
Plum, that is a lie. You are unforgettable.
Plum, you are too funny. I'm sorry. That was way
I
too
love Plum.
funny. That was good timing. But Fiore, because definitely the design is Alan from Alan and Anne, but in a different white suit.
Yeah, like slightly different.
Go for it.
Did Alan have the like suit?
They both did.
Did they both have it?
Oh no, not the suit, like the black suit.
The
bears,
bodysuit, yes.
The bodysuit in like when they're on the planet.
Yes.
It's like weird Prince tux thing. They don't have that.
Let's see. It was
sensational. But yeah, I don't
this
remember
one?
Alan having
Yeah, they never
serve
had
of a
that.
suit.
It's a heck of a boat. Like, look at those like shoulders.
It's very Endymion.
Yes.
White Endymion.
Also, just stars to Cassini and Blossom for being my lesbian awakening.
Bitch.
Fair.
All of those. Just going to take a moment and say all of those beautiful, beautiful plant ladies.
Let me pull up a picture of them.
You awakened my sexuality.
Yeah.
I literally remember being like, boobies seem nice.
Literally, like I would not look away from the boobies. And then the one when they're on the planet and the one is like flying, attacking them. She has her whole ass out.
Oh, I fucking love.
I would what?
What moment did I miss? Oh,
It's
okay.
when
They're
they-
on the planet.
Yeah,
And
when
they're
they
like-
just teleport to the planet.
And they're being chased by the flying bitch with the blades on her elbows.
Yes. Okay,
It's
now
called
with
her
you.
wasp.
When she crashes and like sucked up into that like vortex or whatever, she is lifted by her ass in a thong bikini and her whole coochie's out.
I did not realize that.
Child me did. And child
Right.
me rewound the VHS and was like, interesting.
I need to look at this more for science. So here's the other thing that really bothers the shit out of me. Cassinian in the dub, the original,
Yes.
is Kissian. Whatever. I can't
Yes.
spell out loud. Anyway, here they're spelling it with an
KISE.
X.
Yeah. It's
They're
between the
spelling it
dub
with
and
an
the
X.
wiki.
Here, I'll pull it. Wait. No. That was wrong. I was right the first time.
Do we know if it was maybe like a dubbing error?
It's not an error. They
Yeah,
stuck
but that
to
is
it.
the. Yeah.
I've never seen it like that before.
I have neither ever seen it, and I was like, what? Yep.
A baddie.
I would read that as Zinnian.
Yeah, which like I know zinnias are a real flower, but also they're not spelled like that. They're spelled
Right.
with a Z.
Yeah, that's confusing.
I don't know. Huge shrug emoji on that one.
Saying, I wonder why they changed the name because I didn't see any information on that. Did you? And you know
I
that they don't
was-
just change things willy nilly.
Yeah, I was aghast because I was watching it with the subtitles on because I'm partially deaf / have ADHD. And yeah, that came up and I was like,
That's not how you spell it.
for what reason? I know I have dyslexia, but why? I thought I misread it at first.
No, it's got to be something to do. Who knows? It's hard to tell with Sailor Moon. Because the 90s, I need to finish reading a book. So, did you guys know that the character Melvin wrote a book?
Yes.
For real, for real. There's a book written by Melvin, and I bought it, and I need to finish reading it. And it
Like-
goes,
Umino's American voice actor?
Sailor Moon Reflections inside the
what it
original
is.
story.
Sailor Moon Reflections, the inside story of the original recordings of the English version of Sailor Moon.
There's a book.
Okay. Word.
And it's only on Kindle for $5. But I'm really curious because it has a lot of good ratings, and I genuinely want to deep dive into that book and find out what was causing all of this scannery.
Oh, he was on the production team?
Yeah,
Oh, director. Anyway.
I know you learn something new every day in Sailor Moon.
Would be a fun deep dive. How funny.
Yeah, so that is one that I want to go into is that book because I honestly did not know that there was a book for the longest time.
I think I
Okay.
just recently found that out. I actually have a quick question
Go for it.
for people that remember the older dub better than I do. Did the original Cassinian flower minion, the one that was on Earth,
The flower.
did she talk?
Yeah.
Yes.
She didn't talk in the new one.
No, yeah. She is like growling at them and like, let's play. And like, it
Yeah, no.
also definitely contribute to the momminess of her. But yeah, no, she fully talked in that,
No.
thing.
The best that you get in the new one is
That's so upsetting.
which makes me not excited to be listening to the fucking snow dancers.
Oh
Oh God.
Did they make the flow dancers more annoying?
I don't know, but I hope not, because
My
they
mom-
already were grating on my nerves.
My mom regretted buying me the movie pack because of the amount of shrill noises the villains made.
Can we talk about how I have a working theory that the Sailor Moon R movie was made simply because someone wanted to make softcore tentacles?
They also introduced a generation of children to it.
Right? That's what I was just thinking.
A movie, but I didn't want to say it. Thanks for bringing that up. That movie ruined me.
But because they're like, especially when they're the thing.
Kid me was like, oh, mermaids, but then they're also snakes, but they're also tentacles.
But like what I'm talking about is when the Senshi are captured.
Yes.
And they're all in the like pillar.
That,
Some of those poses.
that awoke something in me.
I just learned something about myself.
For real.
To be fair, if you didn't get it with the Doom and Gloom girls, they're just going to keep making sure that you get plenty of tentacle options as we go throughout the series.
You're not wrong. Okay, but also, if we're talking about this for a minute, Cassidian, when she transforms Fiore at the end and is just like this beautiful smoke trail around him, but then transforms and is a literal arm tentacle thing wrapped around his body.
Like that.
This is the that was the first time when he's in the red bodysuit.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
weird shoulder, like he has an extra arm wrapped around him,
And it's like,
is it the floating that's in the 90s dub? That scene was unnecessary.
the animation of that hand sticks in my head rent free. The like that she did this thing, and I was like,
it's beautiful.
and like she's grabbing his titty. I know why, like that's where she's at, but like she's grabbing his titty.
She was so sexual and she did not have to be.
No,
Ma'am, you're taught as a gay man.
but also no, never mind.
No, but she was honestly like, for what was at the time considered a kid's movie on Toonami, she was like, ooh, ma'am, hello.
Between
Sure.
all of the villains in the movies just had titties out.
Yeah.
Like the Ice Queen.
But what's really funny, so villains tits out, party tit all the time. The Senshi in their fucking transformations had the under boob edited, had the butt cheeks edited, had the crotch V edited, and I'm like, but the villains.
But then still at the end, Fiore's full grabbing boob when he's trying to take that crystal.
Oh my god, I remember that, and I literally, like, when that first happened, I was like, what?
I was watching with my partner, I'm like, look, he's gonna grab her boob.
I remember legitimately having a fight with my babysitter because I did not believe that squiggles were being naked. I remember I was like, they're not naked. Like, they're being covered. And she's like, but you can see their outlines. And this is like 90s outlines.
And I had the same argument with my cousin when we were kids. He's like, how do you watch this? They're naked.
Like, that day.
Back in my day,
We're ancient.
my friend showed me the third movie, uncensored Japanese.
Ooh.
I was a young.
There's implied nipple in that one.
I was but a young sprout, and this was elementary school, 5th grade.
Oh yeah, this was all elementary school. These awakenings were all
And-
responsible from Sailor Moon.
Literally, I remember her name. Her name is Allie. At Allie Witt. If I find you, I swear to God. But anyway, she literally was like, look, butt. And I was like, what? Granted, I was reading the manga at that point.
Okay. So you knew a little bit.
I knew a little bit, but like it never clicked that they were censoring it because it was such a weird fucking thing to censor.
Yeah.
Like, who gives a shit that you can see their butt cheek outline? You can't see the crack. It's fine. God.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was.
It was a weird form of censoring in the 90s, what they chose. Because they could have,
Still 4 kids.
like, all of the violence I feel like got through, like, any of the, like, fights, like, especially in the 90s, in the movies, they got a little bit more graphic than they did. Like, it's not anything crazy. I mean, like, there was actual, like, violence in the fights. Like, they were getting thrown into the walls that you were seeing an outline.
Oh my god, yeah. That fight when they're all facing off against, like, they kill the flower and then Fiore goes and beats them all up. Like,
Yeah.
the impacts when the scouts, like, hit the store, like, little aluminum screen thingies and then
The
Jupiter
grate.
into a telephone box.
Yeah.
Like, that was heavy.
I think the reason that for us is so heavy is because we didn't see a lot of the fighting from the 4 kids version of Sailor Moon. Or it's not 4. Or was it 4 kids?
Was it
Anyway.
4 kids?
It was eventually 4 kids.
Yeah, it was eventually all 4 kids. Like, I think that's why it had such a literal and figurative impact on us because we didn't get to see a lot of the like actual like smack. Like, yeah, they got hit, but like we didn't see the fact that they just flew 50 feet into a rock
Yeah.
or whatever. So I think that's part of the reason why this particular movie was so like gut wrenching. Because we were actually watching the violence that these girls were going through.
Which was a lot. But it's like, I don't know, they did it in a really good way for me in the movie where it's like you could understand the impact and the importance of what was happening.
Yeah, it wasn't just violence to be violent.
Yeah, like, it was one of those, I feel it's a movie that does a really good job, despite it not being canon to the manga, of dealing with one of the themes of Sailor Moon, which is that, like, your regular life versus your duty as a guardian. And I feel like that dichotomy is very, like, these are just kids in this movie and, like, they're being thrown into walls and through windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
I
is
do appreciate that. Sorry, interrupting Cheese. I do appreciate that in the movies, in this movie specifically, I would have to rewatch the other one. But in this movie specifically, they're very good about absolutely zero panty shots of any sort. And this was something that I even remember watching as a youngster and being like, in theory, like physics, skirt physics, there would be at least like a little bit of a butt cheek.
Mhm.
Never. Not a single time. You can't even see the like the lower portion of their fucking unitard or whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, that's kind of refreshing actually.
Like, it's kind of nice that they took that time to actually, like, kind of protect the modesty of the girls in a way.
If I remember correctly, they've never, or if they did it, very, very, very occasional.
It's always been, it's never been super, like, blatant. And it's always been with unitard, never super, like, butt cheek. It's like, okay, this is the physics of the shot, is its upskirt. So we're
Right.
going to see the bottom of their leotard.
So, but it was because like when the one zombie person grabbed
Oh, Mina.
Minako
Yeah.
and like literally had her up by her fucking ankle upside down, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, she kicked the shit out of him.
Honestly, A+.
Yeah. Props.
Big props. But just to take a
The villain does get a nice panty shot in this movie, though.
The villains more than make up for the lack of Senshi panty shots.
No, these are children. We don't sexualize these. Here are big, busty, evil ladies that aren't human.
Here,
Go
planet.
crazy.
Save the planet like that, bitch.
Oh my gosh. But the plant, we just find out that she is just some evil creature from floating across the universe,
She's
right?
like a parasite.
Yeah, she's a parasitic plant.
Okay, so do we ever get any motivation besides that, or is she just a parasite who wants to, like,
Just
screw shit up?
a parasite that exists in space via legend.
Yeah. And she preys on the weak-minded.
And Luna and Artemis know about her from their memory on Silver Millennium.
But they have never actually seen one.
Interesting. I just find her an interesting villain because she more uses Fiore than anybody. Like, out of all of our villains, our other villains are very much more like, that get stuff done, but she is a plant. Then again, are the snakes also her?
Yeah.
So would that
I
have
think
happened on
everything is
Earth?
her.
I think like they're like, because she's basically a symbiote. So she can't exist without Fiore.
Okay.
Or without a host.
Exactly, without a host. And so she's like, I think all those flowers that are representative of her power that's being channeled through him are like, I guess, offshoots of her. But I
Okay.
think like her main, like the parasitic host is on Fiore.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the rest are almost like drones. I don't know. That's also kind of the pattern for a lot of Sailor Moon villains is, okay, we have the big baddie and there's drones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what it basically is, because she, at one point in the new dub, when she starts changing and like molesting him,
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
she grabs his boobie. But she literally says to him something, I will grant you more of, or I will bestow upon you more of my power. So it's literally her powers being channeled through him, and therefore those flowers and those minions and all of that are her by extension.
Okay.
I
Nice.
like to think that it's a thing of where if the original flower starts to wilt, she can just have him put another one on.
Oh, like a safety measure. So that she
Clever. I
can
hadn't
always.
thought about it that way.
Ooh, I like that theory.
Or she's trying to cultivate more of her
That's where I was going, my line of
To-
logic.
to get more people under her control.
So what's funny? Sorry, just a real quick tangent. All of the I for some reason forgot she was the main villain, and I always picked Fiore as the main villain. And then I'm like, no, all three villains of all three movies are just super powerful evil women on a like rampage.
No, Fiore is just a little bitch.
Fiore is fine. Fiore, they call him a pawn.
They do. He doesn't have any.
The man is just a sad gay homosexual.
Yes,
sad gay homosexual.
Yes.
But literally, I don't remember who it is that's talking at that point, but either Luna or Artemis are like, she preys on the weak-minded. And I'm like,
Oh, poor Fiore.
oh, he's dumb.
Oh, poor baby.
Depressed.
To be fair, he left any kind of education system at like age 6.
We assume.
That's true. We don't know where he went in space.
And also, we don't know how long he's been in space.
True.
Because he says like something along the lines of like many years. So
he wakes up in space and has no memory of how long he's been there or where
Right.
he came from, is what he said.
That's what it is. Yeah. So like he got like fucking yeeted into space as the toddler that he is, or like is he floating through space since birth, or like what's so it's a whole situation.
I just think it's so funny though that Naoko managed to continue the troop of useless men who need girls to save them, even in the
Yeah.
villain.
She says, here are pretty male pawns and their big sexy lady that controls them.
And we're all just like 10 out of 10.
We're like, yeah, sexy lady.
Sexy lady.
Although, did Kagyu control him? She didn't. I'm talking about the second movie now.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. I was like, wait, what? The
She
second
can
movie?
control the astronomer.
She basically has his heart in her hand, though.
Yeah, but she has a literal chokehold on him. He doesn't act on her evil behalf.
He doesn't know she exists until like she freezes him out.
He just dies slowly.
But that is kind of useless men because she's feeding on his life source.
And whenever he figures it out, he doesn't go for like help or anything.
He just goes and dies in the snow.
Yeah, like there are so many things he could have done.
I can't do anything about this.
Oh my god. But getting back to the first movie, how do you guys think that she stacks up versus the other two movie villains? Like, is she the most memorable? Is she like
She is not the most memorable for me.
No?
Badiano is. I'm sorry. Literally big lady.
Literally big lady.
You got me fucked up.
Solely on the tit standpoint,
Go on.
I would say most memorable was the Snow Queen.
I mean, she did have her tits out.
And then we have Cassidian.
Okay. I mean, yeah, if we're going by literal tits, literal tits out, because Badiano still had her tits out, but it was covered by a bow.
A little sheer.
Oh wait,
rug.
Badiano? Yeah.
Wait, they were out too?
Baby, I watched.
Oh, right, they're behind a bow, right?
They're behind a bow. Literally just a floating bow.
I also thought
it was a dress.
Nope. It is a bow, and the only reason that I is because I want to cosplay Pettidu, and I wanted Celine to do Badiano.
I also want to cosplay Pettidu. Please do it.
I'm gonna.
Wait,
I
this
wanna
is.
do
Oh my god, it is.
Pettidu and Helios.
But she has sleeves. What the heck?
You can have sleeves and not have a dress?
No, her like pedestal that she stands on, I also used to think was part of her dress. Her character design is odd. She's very statuesque.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Here, I got the image now, finally. Sorry, we're jumping real quick into the third. Oh my god, her titties are out.
Her tits are out.
I still have to put her in third for titty ranking, but I would say she's probably the most memorable.
Is that just like a thing if you're evil, titties out?
Yeah. If I was a powerful woman and could make men bend to my will, I would also have my tits out all the time. I have none, but I would.
But that's fair. But wow, I didn't know that about that movie.
You can really see it at one point because they do
There's
like an upshot of her, and it's like just under
boob.
And I'm like, oh
gosh.
It would be a bad point for me to be Pettidu and my wife to be Badiano, because I'd just be like,
Mommy, sorry. Mommy, sorry.
Right.
Mommy, sorry.
No, there are several people that I have that are ready to do all of the fairy boys with me. So I have myself as Pettidu. I have someone that's going to be doing Pupuran. I think I have either Oranji or Banan. I don't remember which one. And then I think the one that I'm missing is whatever the other one is. I want to say Oranji is the one that I don't have.
I will be living when I see this cosplay group.
I'm
very excited for it.
Also, good luck with the physics of whatever that wire that wraps around Pettidu's outfit.
What is that a way to do?
I look at it and I go, how?
One of my like cosplay idols from 1,000 years ago cosplayed Pettidu, and I'm just gonna be Googling that.
Yeah.
And being like, how did you?
All right. So real quick before we go to Brain, what anything else we want to talk about? Any other wild card thoughts you guys want to get out before we get going?
The Senshi were bitches.
Oh, the Senshi I wanted to cover in the second half because I have a lot of opinions about them.
They were just straight up bitches.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
they don't act like they usually do. This movie was Usagi and Mamo the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I do not think that they were trying to make anybody else look good. I don't think they were trying to make anybody else like feel for you. Like the Senshi got sidelined so quickly in the battles, so quickly. I don't know. I just feel like this was. For Sailor Moon, the movie, they made it Sailor Moon. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that.
Which is why I think Power of Love hits so well. Because it's so Sailor Moon. So Sailor Moon.
But I feel like by taking away the Power of Love, and specifically taking away those a tiny, tiny clip of what each girl was saying to Usagi. The new dub does not hit the way the old dub did. The new dub does not make it as memorable. It does not show their struggle. It does not show just how much that meant to them in that moment.
Wait, which bits?
No, because my dub has Moon Revenge and it has all the flashback bit.
The flashbacks,
The flashbacks are in the new dub.
they're different. They're dubbed over in a different way, and they're not as good.
Fucking obviously.
But it makes me so angry because I could tell you word for word, line for line, those old dub.
Oh, me too.
No, it was like the one when Ami and Usagi are talking about how she needs to actually spend more time having fun.
Today
And not,
we're going to do nothing but play.
I've never done that before. Like,
British accent. I love British accent, Amy. I will die on this hill.
Okay, but that's pretty much what she said in the new dub, though.
not really.
Michi, I literally watched it yesterday.
Semantics on that.
I literally watched it yesterday, and Ami was sitting there with her little fucking book, and Usagi was like, "Hey, you didn't come to the beach just to read your book, did you? If you're going to be playing, you should play."
Okay, fair.
And Ami was like, "You're right, I should play." And then she puts down her book, and they go off to play. So, like, I'm gonna fucking fight you on this.
All right, so since you just watched all of them, all right, what? That was one. Mars, is it still where they're talking about her being the weird girl? Because yes, I just rewatched this movie, but I can't remember every single part of it.
Okay, so the flashback Ray has where like the people are being mean to her, where they're just like, look at that weird girl. She spends all her time with all those weird blackbirds. She doesn't seem to like people. Probably thinks she's too good for us. And then the Usagi one is, too many chores can be bad for you. And then she like teases Usagi back. And it's like she's just being a friend to Ray.
Okay, and in the new one, they're still talking about how she's the weird girl, but the fact that she's psychic, and
They
she
do
seems
mention
to,
they mention that in the 90s.
she seems to. It's something along the lines of like keys, wallets, whatever. She'll guess where it is, and she's right 100% of the time, and it's really weird.
The
And
90s
then-
one is like, oh, I hear that girl can predict stuff. It's kind of creepy if you ask.
Right. And then in the Usagi version, Usagi is, I just realized that you're really hardworking.
I like that more.
I like that more.
And Ray kind of like, really? You just realized that? It's a really cute exchange. It's really adorable. Like I said, I'll fucking fight you on this one.
I guess it's just the nostalgia goggles, and I will fully admit that I am somebody who fully admits I have nostalgia goggles are on the Deke dub. The problem is I couldn't find the Deke dub to rewatch it, so I can't speak 100% to it. I can only speak from my memories.
And like,
Part of it's the same as we were speaking with Usagi's voice actress in the 90s dub as well. It's that emotion that isn't there with some of the newer types of anime dubs. Like, I think that plus the nostalgia factor is like what's doing it for us. Like, oh, we prefer that version. But
the Makoto scene is, the original flashback is like people talking about her and how she like put a dude in the hospital.
Yeah.
And she's so violent, and I wouldn't hang out with a violent girl like that. And then the Usagi version is Usagi staring at the rice ball that Makoto has. And she's like, I don't remember exactly what she says, but essentially it's like, oh my God, that looks so good. And Makoto's like, oh, you're not afraid of me? And Usagi is like, no, why would I be afraid? Or something like, no, why?
Okay, because that's the old one.
yeah, no, that's pretty much the same as the old one. It's like, I heard that girl got kicked out of her old school for fighting. Like, why even bother trying to be friends with her? I'd give her 2 weeks.
Okay, what was the Minako one? Because the Minako one to me was the most heart-wrenching.
Okay, the Minako one in the 90s is, that girl is so shy, she never says a word. And it's like, shy? You mean stuck up? And it's just like, yeah, for real, look at her trying to look like Sailor V.
Yes! Because it's so sad because she's like, they're making fun of her for being who she actually is. Like, trying to be like, she's so antisocial, right? Or something along those lines, that she never wants to hang out or she's always too busy, I think. Now, questioning my whole existence.
In the new one, it's essentially like, don't even bother asking her to go anywhere. Minako always says that she's too busy. Yeah, it's almost like she's Sailor V or whatever. And then in the Usagi version,
It's them meeting for the first time.
it's Usagi being like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that I'm meeting my hero Sailor V. Oh my god."
Yeah.
And Venus is like,
Like, oh my god, recognition. You're being nice to me.
yeah,
It's so cute.
that's it.
All right. Any last thoughts on the argument between the old dub and new dub before we go to break?
I don't like all of it, but I will fight you on the stuff that I like.
That's fair. I'm here for the fight. Hey guys, welcome back. We are back for part 2 of Because I Will Not Let This Title Go, Promise of the Rose, Sailor Moon First Movie Theories. What? I know Loki's like,
It's
not
still.
Promise.
I'm sorry. It's Promise of the Rose. He's been outnumbered.
I don't give a fuck. You
You're like, I don't care. You're wrong.
You don't care. You don't care. Sailor Denzel, hey, good to see you.
Y'all
Are-
are allowed to be wrong. I'm just
I will fight. I will fight on this movie. Oh gosh, and look, it's our new little cutie pie emote. So I'm so glad that they're there. It's Luna. Luna holding a heart. I love it. All right, so one thing I wanted to bring up was that there is on YouTube, and I give credits in the description, but there is these 2 minutes of, and actually I believe it's the battle, so let me go ahead and share this. You gotta admire there, right there, 0 panty shot. Like Loki pointed
ample
out.
times that they could have. Didn't take it.
All right.
How is it? No, not yet. I can still detect the energy source behind the plants that were controlling all those people. I can't.
Okay. So I think that's a cool little like sneak peek because it is a very interesting showing of the Senshi dynamic. Because I think it's just interesting in that it shows a little bit like Ami obviously figured everything out right away. Snaps to her. Rei, I think, was shown as like the most powerful, and that I just want to know how in the world they decided to animate that, and that she was like spinning and twirling at the exact same time. I don't know. I just found it a very interesting moment.
I mean, I feel like everyone was in character.
Yeah, now I'm trying to remember where I was going, why I had that note next to it.
Yeah, because I was like, I feel like everyone's in character. It definitely is showing that they're still, if we're going on the whole, like, they just recently got their memories back, they're comfortable, question mark, with each other. So it kind of feels like they'll kind of have a weird, like, I know that I know you, like, I don't know you, but, like, I do know you, like, obviously. Of dynamic, and I feel like that's maybe what you're picking up on,
Maybe it's the lack of closeness together.
or the lack of teamwork and communication.
True, because nobody was protecting Usagi. Like, not one person was protecting Usagi in that
But
battle.
also, I feel like it was because all of those people were people.
Fair point.
Yes, they
And
were all.
Pokemon.
They are usually thrown off by when they have to fight other humans.
That's true.
I feel like literally it was a point of where they were like, well, we can't just start decking these people. Even Makoto, she didn't punch. She
was
threw
dodging.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a point of where it was like, well, we can't hurt these people. What the fuck do we do?
Oh, I think what it is, now reading into my notes, I think it was because it felt like the most realistic fight that we've had so far.
That's where I was thinking. I'm like, because in the notes it was you were just like, this fight feels different, and it's like it definitely does because like they're all in their civilian form. It's like it's a very like it's like a 3-part fight, and this is like the first act.
Yeah, it's just it like, and the animation hits like McDonald's Sprite. Like there is just something about that animation though that is so crisp and so clear, and especially in the new render, like mwah, beautiful.
I was watching because I rented the HD
Mhm.
version on Amazon Prime, and like I was watching it and I was like, oh, that is crisp. That is crispy.
Crispy, so good.
This movie is easily some of my favorite Sailor Moon like animation, like from
The
an
movies
animation
in
standpoint.
general. Yeah,
Yeah,
the movies in general have
they're really well done.
Also, some of the cutest outfits of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I think some of the modern, like, especially in that opening sequence of the second movie. Sorry, I'm up in movie. What I mean, the outfits are immaculate, and especially that was it. I was thinking in the botanical gardens. Like Ray somehow matches Mamo, and I always wondered, was that her trying to be like a cute couple with him? But
probably.
what point are we at?
Probably. Because when Chibiusa and her, because Chibiusa is sitting on her shoulders as they're
Mhm.
spying on Usagi and Mamoru. Chibiusa is having her own like mental fucking breakdown about her daddy issues. But Ray also is like,
Gritting her teeth.
like, oh, that could have been me. Like harkening back to that weird like
And then
portion that when they dated.
when they're back at Ray's house, like talking about everything that happened, Amy makes a comment. Well, that's strange, seeing that everyone's in love with him. And Ray's like, everyone, including you. And then they start bickering about like, oh, you also have a crush on Mom.
So in the new one, that's not the conversation.
Oh,
In the new one, Ami remarks how, oh, I didn't realize that Mamoru was like that. And then we start talking about like, oh my God, is Mamoru gay? And like at one point someone was like, well, someone from my college or like my school is like that. And, I'm really happy for them or something along those lines. Like none of it was malicious, but it definitely was like, are you trying to say that Mamoru is gay? So that was, I personally think that's funnier.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that.
I'm here for that. Like, I think that is honestly hilarious.
Because like as soon as it leaves Ami's mouth, everyone like looks at her and she's like,
She blushes. She like realizes what she
right.
said.
And then she was like, wait, no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. And literally everyone's like, are you saying that Mamoru is homosexual? It's great. It's great.
Oh my gosh. And one thing I do want to just point out real quick. Can we just point out, like, with the whole, like, interesting beginning, how does Fiore figure out it's Mamo so fast when everybody else's ability to understand who everybody is in this show is, like, -10? Like,
He also
everybody else
figures out Usagi is Sailor Moon.
I always assumed he was watching that fight with the flowers and saw them transform. But that's also just like me jumping and making assumptions. That is not at all handed to you in the viewing material.
Because literally he looks at her and he's like, you're the girl from the botanical garden.
Yeah, like, he does it. He makes every other villain look bad.
The one brain cell hits the corner.
And he hit it with all of his might.
So,
Oh, yeah, we should talk about Chibiusa because she's in this movie and I keep forgetting.
She's so peripheral.
literally, when I started watching the movie, I texted Michi and I was like, I forgot that Chibiusa was in it.
It was
And it's before she has powers, so she's basically useless.
It's her like teeny version where she's like literally where she just dropped from the sky, basically.
yes.
But somehow knows Usagi's her mom already.
Yeah.
They're playing real hard with that when this took place.
I can't figure it out.
She knows that she's her mom, but she still hates it.
But she somehow, but no, yeah, because remember, whenever she wakes her up, she literally holds her nose and mouth and tries to like keep her from
Suffocate
breathing.
her.
And I'm like, who does that?
But then, as soon as Usagi is about to transform, she's like, wait! And Usagi's like, what the fuck do you want, kid? And she's like, go get him.
She's like, thanks for saving my life.
Oh,
Oh my god, the 90s dub is so bad. She's like, you're a pal.
I remember that. Yeah, in the new one, it's go get him.
My favorite, though, in the 90s, she goes, do your thing, Moon Mama.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Ouch. I'm cringing for her.
Birth in my grave.
I'm really sad that my favorite line from the old one is null and void in the new one.
Which is
Forget-me-nots. It means true love in the
in a
language of
language
flower.
I do
I'm
not have a
so-
normal relationship with forget-me-nots because of this movie.
Same. Literally same. Like, Celine and I are doing a flower shop RP, and I had to look up flowers, and I was like, forget-me-nots.
Forget-me-nots.
Oh my gosh. And also, big question real quick. Why did they have them hanging out at the park instead of the command center?
Kind of assumed that the park was just right there.
Do you think it was just that they just happened to be there? Because that always threw me because I'm like, why are they having...
I assumed it was like an outing. Because the intro, when the theme song plays, is like they're on a bus on their way to the botanical garden. So they're having like a big friend group outing.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes way more sense why they couldn't go where they usually would.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys for filling in the little holes I needed.
Yeah, because I remember the bus was like Tokyo something. So it was very specifically taking them away from Tokyo.
But I think that the main theme of the movie is loneliness and what loneliness can do to you. Because that theme comes up so much after the second half of the movie.
And how you deal with it.
Yeah, because think about it, like even in the actions, like when girls are first alone and they're on the planet and they're looking for where the villains are and they're really confused because they can't find anybody. When the villains start to come at them, what is Mars's first action? To take Usagi and throw her alone so that she doesn't get hurt.
That is not the first one, but yes.
Sorry, my brain. All right, I will rewatch these movies the night before Loki, okay? So I can be 100% on point.
So you can fight me.
Yes.
No, the portion that you're talking about is literally after they had like clumped up, grouped up, they're surrounded by enemies, and like they've
start,
already
like,
all done their
converging on them.
attacks. Yeah. And the plants are like
Yeah, they-
converging into
Where they just
one
moon
giant
sceptered
thing.
them and then
Yeah.
they come back tenfold.
Oh,
Yeah.
now I'm hit. Okay, now I'm back.
Yeah, and that's when that tidal wave of plant is happening. That's when Mars like fucking yeets her.
I don't know. Even as a kid, that moment when Mars eats her is a very interesting moment to me because it shows such isolation and that they will do anything to protect their princess, but also the loneliness that Usagi feels always being put by herself.
Yeah, that is very much like always her final battle ends up being her. And she always has this moment of just like, I wish my friends were here. I would feel strong.
You know what broke my heart? Her digging at that mountain, trying to get to them, and her pristine
gloves get dirty.
becoming dirty. Oh,
And just the throwing the moon scepter aside and the sound it makes like it sounds like a toy.
yeah,
Yes.
It's so good.
yeah.
I mean,
That-
she chooses her friends over the scepter too, which I feel like is very not how Sailor Moon usually goes. I think with the anime, yes. With the manga, no. Of that, you would protect the relic and the Moon Kingdom thing first, and in this, it's one of I think the most like poignant illustrations. Like friendship and love are the main themes of this story and this series, and like for her to just be like, "Without my friends, I'm nothing." And
I
she
think
throws it away very quickly.
I think it's the first time that we, possibly the only time that we see Usagi just be a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not Sailor Moon. She's not Princess Serenity. She's not, literally, she is nothing. She is just a girl and she is having a hard time. I feel like it's kind of taking it back to like when she first became Sailor Moon and her like battle with that, like, but I'm just a kid. And now it's like, I'm just a kid. And I'm like, because, sorry, interrupting Chief before I forget, because my trains of thought are very bad. The thing that I absolutely love about their like fight scene on the fucking asteroid thingy, how we get to see the attacks from like the wide lens. and like how each attack can be used on a large scale. Yes. That was a thing that I was like,
Yeah,
her
because I
just
don't
being like,
I don't think we get that otherwise.
It's very like the combat in this movie is very unique in
Mhm.
how it is like.
correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the
Illustrated.
first time they've gone to space too.
No, because they go to the moon.
In
But,
the
like-
first season. They go to
Yeah, they go
Mama
to the moon in
Serenity.
season 1.
Oh, that's right. Fair.
But
That's why I said
I
correct me if I'm
thought
wrong.
that too. I'm like, is this the first time they used the same teleport? But it's not.
But I will say those 90s graphics though for that flower, whenever it's opening up and it's that 90s or early 2000s aesthetic.
It's the CGI.
Yep. It's very good. Very good.
It was doing it, and I understand why they did it that way. I understand as someone who is in game art and development, like I'm in college for it, but whatever. Like I understand why they did it that way, but it still looks like a garbage file.
I'm like, oh, there's the age in this.
Yeah, like literally up until that point, I was like, this is pristine, this is beautiful, this is sensational. And then it was like, and I'm like,
Rendered or remastered, except for skip forward through the beginning part of it.
yeah, except for don't look at that part.
But where the movie is pretty is, do you guys remember the slow-mos? Like the slow-mo animation, especially like whenever they're even like when the flowers are slow-mo moving around him. Like there's gorgeous animation of this movie.
They, like I said, they popped their OC for that.
And then what were you gonna say, Alexis?
Oh no, I was just agreeing.
Oh yeah. I just was checking. Just because I don't know. I always think slow-mos and Sailor Moon are good because they do those like picture slow-mos. And then but the interesting animation, especially like whenever you have like, for instance, the clip we watched, when the background turns red and everything just stops. It's so good.
The art direction in this is very good.
That's what I was looking for. Thank you. Yeah,
The
whoever
art
was the art
direction,
director.
yeah.
And like I was saying before, I feel like if you were to, because the art direction is so good, if you were to turn off the subtitles and turn off the audio, you would still understand what is happening.
Yeah.
You might not know the details, but like you would get it.
Yeah, you would get the like flower bad girls
Right.
big epic battle.
Mamo's gay.
Oh, Mama, without the subtitles, it's even more gay,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my gosh. All right. Anything else on Usagi's friends before we keep going? Because they're not a huge note yet until we get to the finale with the space rock.
The thing that really the only thing that I feel is completely out of character for them is in the botanical garden when they're spying on her. Like that part is not really, but like the conversation that they have is a little weird to me. And then B, when Mamoru fucking fucks off instead of kissing Usagi and she's standing there like, and she opens her eyes and like they're holding a fucking caterpillar in front of her. I'm like,
That's so mean.
this feels not good.
The physics of that also, like, I want to know how they got from point A to point B with the caterpillar so quickly.
Doesn't make sense. No, you're right. That conversation, they're kind of mean.
They're
Like-
super mean.
They're talking her down. They're being like, why are they being romantic and cute? They're a cute couple
In a fucking botanical garden, homies. Come on.
next to freaking forget-me-nots. How can you not do
That mean true love.
true love in the language of flowers? Like,
It's also like a flower that's associated with her star sign.
oh, that's right. I forgot about that. So it could have been so cute. Mamo, you had the perfect moment. Why?
Because he's an idiot.
That's fair. Okay, can we talk about how the movie tries to make him seem so nice and so sweet, like he did nothing wrong, and then this is also right on the cusp of whenever he is horrible to her, but we don't know. Is it before? Is it after? It could be a mixture.
It's true, because the art is the arc where he's like, I can't be with you, but I'm not going to tell you why.
The most emotionally stunted man.
I absolutely hate anime Mamoru.
Yeah.
Anime Mamoru deserves the name Darien.
Darian Shields.
I forgot his last name was Shields.
Shields. Yeah.
Oh my god. And let's talk about, you know what, since we're in the Mamo hour, let's talk about that scene whenever you find out how Mamo and Usagi met.
No, I refuse to believe it. This
I
is not
fucking
canon.
hate it.
It's not canon. I'll die on this hill. This is not canon.
First of all, I hate the fact that the hospital let a child just run around.
Wander around. How are you getting from the prenatal ward to the orphanage?
Is he in
That's
the
a great
orphanage or is he in the
They refer to it as the
ICU?
orphanage.
Oh, okay.
What? Oh my god.
But that could also be, again, my strongest memories of the 90s dub, so those translations are not the most accurate.
Well, here, I actually have the clip. I don't know which
don't
version it is. Let's have fun. We'll figure out which version. But then, please, I want to hear both your soapboxes.
Who are you?
My name is Serena. Why are you crying?
Because my friend's leaving and I'll never see him again. And he's the only friend I've got.
No, he isn't. Because from now on, I'll be your friend too.
Okay.
And I like that so much more than the fucking new one.
What's the new one saying?
The new one, she's like, because my friend's going away and he's the only friend I got. QQ. And she's like, something along the lines of no, he isn't. I'm here because I became a big sister today because my mommy gave birth, or something along those lines.
I mean, she
And
said that
so-
in this one, too.
And so I'm going to be your friend too. And I'm like,
Okay, that's phrased horribly.
Yeah, that is phrased really bad.
Because the way
literally, sorry, interrupting you. She's
No, go ahead.
literally like, I have a baby brother now. That's why I'm in the hospital. I'm going to be your friend. And I'm like,
you can do it a lot more naturally in the other one, because she goes from that. She goes, because my mommy just had a baby boy today, and I got these flowers for her, which we're gonna get into the flower thing. Yeah, they segue that a lot nicer. But
Which is hard.
also-
Go for it.
I'm getting into my I refuse to believe this is canon.
No, please go for it. Okay, so why do you not think this is canon? I'm so curious.
Okay. I know there's the whole memory lapse thing in the beginning of season 1, but they meet with Usagi throwing her crumpled up test at Mamoru's head. How would they not remember that they met each other as children and just, oh, this asshole I met on the street that was making fun of my bad grades, and it turns out, oh no, this is this person that I had this super gut-wrenching emotional moment with, as they were 8 and I was 5 kind of thing.
not to mention she has the same fucking hairdo.
Literally.
Yes.
Literally. Especially with him being calling her Odongo and dumpling head, whatever, he would remember, oh, I had this pivotal moment of my childhood with this tiny blonde girl who looks exactly like my current girlfriend. And you don't remember that that's the person you're meeting when you're making fun of her for having that hairstyle immediately upon meeting her?
Also, you're not going to stay friends with her?
Right? Right? When she offered to be your only friend and then suddenly you're in high school and you have no friends again?
Yeah, how did that happen? They never explain how we get from A.
There's no continuity. There's no explanation from A to B. That is my main reason. I'm no, I refuse to believe that this is canon. This is stupid. They wouldn't have met like this.
Not to mention the fact that A, a small child should not be wandering around a hospital. B, there is no way that she can get from the pregnancy ward to a fucking orphanage, assuming that's where he is and not fucking ICU, whatever, holding whatever. And it just,
It makes no sense.
it's the worst part of the whole movie.
I agree.
I will even forgive the CGI. This is the worst fucking part.
For
It's
me,
also useless, in my opinion.
I feel like they shoehorned it in, and I don't know why.
They needed Usagi to be a good memory for Mamoru, that Fiore could see.
Ah, they had to make it in relation to him.
Plot armor.
Which, here's the other thing. This is my little take on it. I don't know how this would happen. But what if, stay with me, what if that particular memory was the silver crystal making it up?
Oh,
So that Usagi doesn't get absolutely moited
That's a very interesting theory.
by Plant Guy.
I like that theory because it makes sense.
Because we already know that the silver millennium crystal bullshit whatever is like semi-sentient. It
Yeah.
essentially has a mind of its own.
What if it just or it couldn't even go as far as it implanted the memory in all of them. Because Usagi could genuinely believe she was there in some form when she might have been across the entire, city.
But no, because think about it. She may have been there because her mom may have got given. That is absolutely plausible. I think the silver crystal twisted it.
I could see it.
I'm just saying. The
No, I
real
like it.
villain
I
of
like
the
it.
whole
Picasso.
series is the silver millennium crystal and not fucking Mamo Usagi.
It's an interesting because it would fill in a lot of the holes in the story. Because the silver crystal is wild.
Truly.
All right, so let's talk about the ending.
Can we talk about how useless the Senshi are?
They're a good way to remember how good of a person Usagi is.
Also, their formation is absolute garbage.
It makes me so upset.
Look at this! Like,
We're gonna have the two people here and then the row in the back. And I'm like, why can't you just like make a V at least? My God.
Dynamics, please.
It doesn't make any sense, and I'm always like, it always feels like to me that is somehow making them less than Usagi, and I don't know why, and that always bothered me as a kid, because I'm like,
Especially since they're kneeling.
Yes! It makes me mad, because in the first season, they fight alongside her, and this movie, they're like less than her, and it makes me furious.
Also, Mamoru's weird, like, I'm Tuxedo Mask. I'm Damien now.
What is that? What's that too?
He did.
Okay.
Magic Sparkle.
Like, if you could do that the entire time, why aren't you just wearing that? Like, come on, man.
Objectively better.
It
does
truly.
once. I don't think he ever does it again, does he?
No.
You had that outfit, that amazing outfit, and you never do it again? How dare you?
Truly.
I will say for the Senshi, like being in the back, I always like kid brain logic of how I remember like, oh, or sometimes my brain just made assumptions. Like, I guess this is why that is. For me, was like they were very hurt. So they were not at full strength. Like when helping her out. So like, okay, we have to give her what we can because they got super knocked out by the vines draining their energy. Because they never really get up off the ground after they are dropped.
True.
Oh, man, your kid brain was really good at coming up with, like, reasoning.
It's the undiagnosed autism.
Like, I'm with your theory. I love this.
I think also aerodynamically, it makes absolutely no sense. And once again,
aerodynamically, it's useless.
I really wish that they at least had, like, gone into a V formation or something. Like, whatever. That's just a me issue. I was going to say something and it was going to be super smart.
What a move. Do you want me to go instead?
Yeah, you say what you need.
Right. Something I thought was interesting in the new dub, whenever they're doing all those flashbacks, did you guys notice that they called her Usagi, or like in their mind, they called her Usagi instead of Sailor Moon, which was in the original dub?
Yes.
I think that's a really interesting change because, oh, sorry, go for it.
No, go for it.
I just think that's a really interesting change because I don't know why. I actually really liked it better that they called her Usagi. It felt more of a connection for me, whereas in battle, it's very much the Marine Cathedral for me, where Michiru calls her Haruka and Haruka calls her Sailor Neptune, where there's, I know, I could do an entire episode on the Marine Cathedral.
I think it parallels to the manga as well. And I think also speaks to that, like, the relationship, like, outside, like, I'm doing a poor job explaining this, like, it brings together the, like, we are kids, we are also sailor soldiers.
I think what is also interesting is Mamoru never calls her Usagi. He only calls her Usako
Oh,
in the dub. He only calls her Usako, which is a weird change / keeping the same for me because, like, it's not fuck, what is it called when things are, it's not localized because for stateside the nickname or endearment for Usagi is Usako. It is in Japanese, like that is absolutely how he talks to her. But like, I personally, this is maybe controversial. I really liked it in the old translation of the manga when he called her Bunny. And her nickname was Buns. I really liked it, and
That's
people
so
can
cute.
come for me.
that's
Yes,
actually cute.
they translated her name because Usagi is Bunny.
Wasn't it just in the comic books that they did that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember reading it, but it's been so long.
Yeah. And he calls her Buns. And personally, I think that's fucking adorable. And I kind of wish that they'd done it here.
That is actually really cute.
That's really, really cute. I hadn't read that before.
It's a whole old transliteration.
That's actually really cute.
I personally think it's adorable. But yeah, like that was the only thing that I was like, this is weird. This is weird. And like for Usagi, she didn't call him Mamoru. She only said Mamo.
Yeah.
Because in the Japanese, he would be Mamo-chan.
Yeah, so it's like all the differences and all the translating that they're doing.
Yeah. It was a weird like localization issue that I didn't care for, but that's a me issue, I think.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if it bugged me. The problem is I've heard so many like different iterations of names for both of them.
Yes, same. It doesn't faze me.
It doesn't faze me anymore.
I honestly would have rather heard them being like, Marianne,
Serena.
I know. I like how it's like, I'm not sure which version. And then I heard him call it or say something Serena, and I hear both of you. 90s. I got it. But talking back on the space rock, I want to skip ahead, but I don't want to skip ahead. All right, let's talk about that whole silver crystal, because can we all agree that her being there on the space rock, holding out her hands with the silver crystal, I think is one of the most iconic moments in all of Sailor Moon history.
Yes.
Followed only second by her in the ribbons. With the ribbons just fluttering behind her.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's heartbreaking for me.
Yeah, that's like the ribbon scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think before then we knew that it was just ribbons. I think we
get it in the transformation sequence, but we don't ever get a like de-transformation.
Yeah, a deconstruction of it.
Yeah, the only other time I can remember a deconstruction of anyone de-transforming is Haruka in the 3rd season when she's walking back to her car.
They do it again in season 3 with Usagi as well, where her brooch gets like one of the daemon like bites it, and she like ribbon de-transforms back into her school uniform.
What season was that?
I think it's 3.
I think it is 3. Okay, yeah, Sailor Denzel coming in to check us. Yes, that was the first time that was animated.
And in my opinion, it was the one that is the most poignant.
Yes, I would agree.
I think it's because in that moment, she is just Usagi. Like,
she doesn't even have her school uniform. Her butt ass is naked.
The underboob is there.
So is the butt cheek.
Yeah,
so is the butt cheek. The thing that I have always thought about, even as a wee child, is how are they breathing?
I always thought it was like the Trigger Animation Studio in space, like Little Witch Academia.
Look, I can forgive the moon since moon princess. Like, I get that, but like, space.
You could argue that because it was full of plants,
True.
there was an atmosphere of oxygen. That's a stretch.
And that
Does your back
Especially
hurt?
because all the flowers die and they're fine.
And also, like, the only amount of water that we see are A, from Ami, and B, from Mamoru's
like,
fish tank.
Which I never understood how that was supposed to heal a chest wound.
So I think it's supposed to be like
I'm like, no, where are you going? You were just talking about our back stretching.
no. But first of all, no, but I think what it's supposed to be like, the plants and the water that he uses, presumably for the plants, would make faster regeneration. Because he doesn't say that he will heal instantly. He said that he'll heal faster. So maybe it's like a water is the healing element of everything sort of situation. But also the whole like, I'm going to put you in a capsule so you can regenerate.
And also so that I can trap my boyfriend and talk at you.
Literally, though.
There's something inherently like sensual about like there is a wall. You are stuck here. I am talking at you and I brought you here.
And there is nothing you can do about it. I do have to give it to Mamoru, though. He has literally nothing at his disposal, and the only reason that he is able to crack and break the fish tank is because through sheer willpower, he pushes on it.
He knows his Bufang needs him.
But I'm like, homie, don't you have your cane or
Something like use the tip of your mask. I don't know.
his roses fucking stick into concrete?
Right?
I think that they would be okay with that.
We've seen the roses break glass before.
Maybe he can't get the wine down.
No, and it's funny. And in that moment, when he gets out, it really does not only seem to shatter the crystal, it seems to shatter Fiore. Like, his composure, everything. He's like, I got my boyfriend in a pretty little fish tank. Everything is great. I got a big booby flower. Like, life is fantastic.
Big booby flower.
And then all of a sudden, like, his fish tank cracks. Everything starts falling. Like, his whole world literally shatters. And it's all because of Usagi.
Or so he thinks.
Or so he thinks. No, like, I don't know. It's something about that moment where he just gets in, like, the desperation mode.
Yeah. I mean,
I love it when they do, like, villain desperation. It's so good.
just also the losing the flowers, the him crying, Cassinian going, destroy him, he's weak. And he's like, I can't, we're like brothers. And he's sobbing, and it's like the emotional turmoil is what rips him apart.
Yeah.
Delicious.
It's
Like,
so good.
brothers, my butt.
Like he 90 stub also. He gets rejected. He gets rejected from Mamoru. He goes, you choose them? And he goes, yes, I'm sorry. And then he dies.
Why is that funny? But
It's very Romeo and Juliet.
It's so Romeo.
it's so Romeo and Juliet.
And, like, make it homosexual. So homosexual.
But why is it that there's part of me that ships them? Like, low-key kind of ships Mamo and Fiore.
I mean,
it's
that
the-
relationship is a
It's
walking red.
It's Fiore's devotion is what it is.
Yes, because he loves him. He is so dedicated to him that he found, like, a giant evil plant to come take over the world.
But no, he didn't find a giant evil plant to take over the world. He found the prettiest
perfect
flower
flower.
that he could find for Mamoru.
So he could give
That's
him a
what he
flower in return.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about that moment and, like, his whole, like, ambition and reasoning.
He literally wanted to shower Mamoru with flowers because he gave him a flower,
Which came from Usagi.
which came from Usagi. Allegedly.
Allegedly. But it's also like, it's like, this is the one act, like the biggest act of kindness he's been shown in his life. And she's like, oh, I'm down bad for this man. For the rest of my life, I will search the galaxy for the perfect flower for this man who showed me kindness.
who did not want that. He just didn't want to lose his friend.
So it's like, I don't know. That whole ending is just wild into me with those two. Because I feel like a lot of the final battle, even though, yes, it is a lot of Fiore and Sailor Moon, it's a lot of Mamo and Fiore.
It is ultimately like Mamoru's decision, I think, that defeats Fiore.
Yeah. It's the rejection.
Exactly. It's the rose in his chest going, you choose them over me? Yes. And then dead.
Well,
but then he comes back.
Which never made sense to me.
I can forgive it. It's the whole, like, the ghost of me, the last of my life essence, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
like,
blah, blah.
I always boiled it down to Custinian was kind of there.
Or she was holding on to so much of it,
Yeah.
of his energy that energy was able to coalesce in this whole situation. But like that, and like him being like, "Here's my essence. Use it to revive your girlfriend, I guess."
The 90s stuff. This is the friendship flower. It contains my life energy. Give its nectar to Sailor Moon.
To this one in the new one, and then like Mamoru's like, for the flower. I'm like,
the weirdest fucking kiss.
why did you do it like that?
Oh, and then also, can I just say real quick about Usagi dying, which I think technically counts as one of her deaths.
Oh yeah. Anytime she like loses that light in her eyes and stops breathing, I'm like, dead. Silver crystal shattered, dead.
Okay, cool. So we're counting. Okay. To me, it was made less impactful because the second before they show her like dead body that Mamo's holding, they show Chibiusa. If Chibiusa's alive, she's gonna live. They show Chibiusa sitting on the rooftop, being like, I hope everything's going great for Mom and Dad.
That is right before that.
Yes, and it bothered the heck out of me.
But it wasn't right. Like, it was before she, like, clocked out.
After.
No, it's not.
No, it was right after. Tell me
right
if I'm wrong.
Before the song. It's right before the song comes in.
I thought it was right after the song ends, and it's right before they come back and that Mamo's holding her dead body. I thought it was after the song, before dead body.
Because there's like 2 cuts of Chibiusa with the cat. And one of them is because she goes like, well, why is it taking, the Luna's like, why is it taking so long? And Chibiusa's like, they're protected by moon power.
No, I'm not sure.
Where does that? I think it's before the song. There is a cut between her passing out and him holding her, though, and I don't know what that goes to.
I'm scrubbing through, and it sucks because I can't show it because it's on Amazon Prime, and Amazon Prime is stinky. So this right now, she's clocked out, but she's breathing.
Okay.
This is where he's like, you're all being tricked, all of you, even Mamoru.
Uh-huh.
This is when he has like his hand on her tit.
Yeah, he's got the boobie.
Yeah, because at that point she's like, that's after she has the very Christ-like on the floor.
I literally was gonna be like, Jesus.
No, that is it.
Which also, that just happened in my D&D game, and I sent that as a reaction picture. Let's kiss. Anyway, but she goes down, she's breathing.
Yes.
Eyes clocked out.
Yes.
And when Fiore comes back to be like, didn't want you to think I was rude, here's your parting gift, we're self-destructing the planet. She like I think it's like, I always like, okay, it's like being compelled by like serenity inside of her. Like she like raises up just fully with core strength on her knees and just like, I can make you better. Like as he's like trying to take the crystal from her, she's like being filled with serenity's power.
Okay. So now I'm at he's had the rose. Mamoru, are you going to abandon me too? Flowers start to die. I'm going 10 seconds at a time. This asteroid has changed course. Soon it will fall to Earth. All of you will be incinerated with me. Usagi, I won't let that happen. She's up, resurrected, much like Jesus. And then she has the like glow, and she looks back at everyone, and she says, "Don't worry, I'm going to be just fine."
Yeah.
And that's when it flips over to
Ah.
Chibiusa.
Okay, I was wrong. Sorry.
That's when it flips over to Chibiusa.
Okay, so I was wrong. I was misplacing it. Sorry.
It's okay. I still love you.
There is like a break though between like the crystal shatters, she falls back. There's a break. I think it's just a beat. You see the comet like zoom past Earth or something. And then
Because
it cuts and they're floating like in orbit around Earth
Ah.
or something, and she's unconscious.
Right, because the crystal doesn't break because of Fiore.
Yeah, the crystal breaks because she uses up all her energy.
Hey, that's
Literally.
we're here to get to the nitty gritty.
Okay. Fucking Endymion. Flashbacks of her being amazing.
True, you'll be incinerated with like that was not they cleaned that up in the 90s dub. That's hard.
Yeah, he literally he's screaming it. He's like, "You'll all be incinerated with me," and I'm like, "Whoa,
Like, honey,
sir, please." Okay, they went through Venus power and all of the planet power. It streaks across Earth, and then it cuts to I almost said Chibiusa on the roof.
I still call her Reedy.
So technically, no one's dead yet.
Okay, so big technical. It's not. No one's gonna be incinerated with me in a crazy line.
First of all, and that's when, like, right after Chibiusa is like, "I hope everyone's okay up there." Then it
They're
cuts
not
to them.
okay.
It cuts them to them being like, "Usagi, wake up!
It's just like everybody's gonna be fine, and then like, my God,
Like the chewed up brooch, yeah.
The chewed up brooch, delicious.
so good. I
Mhm.
want an Usagi cosplayer to do that version, like battle worn with the brooch. Like that would be so cool.
We'd have to walk around with them on a stretcher.
Yeah.
True, true. I mean, I've seen so many versions of Usagi. You never know.
Fair.
Okay. Are they ever gonna address how? So she comes back to life with the life energy of a flower,
With the
Or
life energy
With
of
Fiore's
Fiore.
life energy.
which is the friendship flower.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not in the new one, but yeah, sure, we'll call it that.
I'm sorry, I love the old dub. Sometimes
No, I
the old
do
dubs.
too. That's what I was everything the whole night.
I can't help myself. I just can't. It's like every time
It's seared into my synapses.
Well, can we talk about like the landscape, because we talked a little bit about this, Alexa, before with Blockbuster, but the landscape of the time of the 90s and early 2000s, I want you guys to remember that getting VHSs and copies of Sailor Moon was next to impossible.
I watched it out of order till like high school.
I don't even know when I watched it
Yeah.
in order.
I think the first time that I was able to actually watch all of it in order was me sitting down on fucking YouTube, episode X, parts
Part
1, 2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4.
5.
Yup. I remember I
And
discovered that
going
sorry,
through that.
I
No, go
discovered that YouTube rabbit hole for season 4 because my exposure to Sailor Moon was literally only Blockbuster. Because as I said, I didn't have cable, so I didn't have Toonami, and we only had 4Kids on Saturday. So I got Sailor Moon almost solely from these VHSs till my mom bought me the movies on DVD. So I would watch parts of season 1 and season 3 out of order, and that's all I knew that existed. And so when I found all the out of order parts of season 4, like season 5 of Stars on YouTube, I was like, what the?
That's because I remember, I'm with you. I have a distinctive memory of going to Blockbuster, and it was when you were good and your parents were being generous, and you would go straight to the anime section, which was maybe this big. Like you got some, God, I'm trying to remember. It was like Vampire Princess was one of the DVDs. Like it was like obscure animes, and then you had the 3 Sailor Moon movies, and that was it for a good
And
time.
like a couple, like 3 episodes on one VHS.
If you're lucky, yes. And they were like maybe like a couple of different ones. Okay, what is it like?
And they were never in order.
Never.
My parents took me to Suncoast.
Oh, you were one of the lucky kids.
don't
I
know
got
what
to-
that is.
Buy my Sailor Moon.
I got some Sailor Moon.
Just check your privilege, okay?
I love this fandom. Oh my gosh. Oh, but I just want everybody to remember that for a long time, but these movies were some people's only exposure to Sailor Moon. So I think that's why we have such a hardcore nostalgia goggle. Like, I am not letting go of this dub.
Definitely.
Like, I'm not saying that anyone should let go of the dub. I also love it. You will cry the language of flowers from my cold dead hand. But I also would like to give credit where credit is due with the new dub.
And the new dub
Because
is working. Sorry, go for
the
it.
new dub is doing its thing. I don't particularly like the whole thing that it's doing, but it's doing its thing. As far as like the newer generation of Sailor Moon fans, it's fine. It's good.
But something about that 90s transformations is the other thing I wanted to talk about. Because did you guys remember how good the movie transformations were?
Yeah.
Because, let's see.
They always had really fire songs too.
Yeah, like, here, I'm going to play and pause a bit, but go ahead, Loki.
I was just gonna say that the transformation songs were not my favorite in the
Really?
new one. In the new
Oh,
one.
in the new one.
Will they
Okay.
change it?
It's just the and I'm like,
I have a soft spot for that one.
I do too.
I don't
But
like
here,
it.
tell me if these are different. I'm curious.
That's the old.
His music is unmatched.
I think, actually, is this one movie specific?
I feel like it's not, but that's not the transformation music that is in the new dub.
Oh, it isn't?
No, in the new dub, it's the transformation music that's in the Japanese, which is a tune of Sailor whomever's is transforming.
Yeah, with the
Oh.
in the background. I know exactly.
So
what
it's
you're
literally like Sailor Mars is the one that I can right off the bat, but it's
Yeah.
literally like Sailor Mars, Sailor Mars, da-da-da-da, Sailor Mars. Like it's
And I'm real excited, guys. I just remembered that the Rini line is in this clip. The Go
The
Get
Moon
'Em
Mama
Sailor
line?
Moon. Yes. Let's find out which version it is.
Wrist. Oh, damn, I stepped it.
It feels version. Oh, I miss this music. The version I rewatched did not have this music.
It's so good. It's does it get better than that?
but yeah, that's the transformation is not
Not the
the
same.
Moon Mama line is only in the old one.
Interesting. Go get 'em, Moon Mama.
Like I said, in the new one, it's like literally her being like, "Thank you for saving me. Go get him," and that's it.
That's so cute. But I always like to shout out the old Deke voice actors because I'm sorry, that Venus Star Power, she puts her whole soul into that.
I love the voice actors for the Scouts. They're so good.
I very much agree.
Okay, I was worried we were gonna fight. I'm like, not this
No,
one.
God,
Loki.
no. There are some portions, especially in, like the very first series, where I want to rip my eardrums apart when anytime that Serena, because at that point she's Serena, anytime that Serena speaks, and then moving forward, anytime that Rini speaks, but like it's fine. And the only reason that I hate on Rini is because she's essentially Scrappy Doo. Like
Oh my god.
Oh God, she is. I mean, you don't have to do much to get me to shit on Rini.
My name's Rini. Rhymes with
No, I'll kill you.
I also the movie, I really do enjoy the fact that Luna P turns into a gun again.
Oh my God, same. I was gonna mention that.
I was gonna. Oh my
Remind
god.
you that you're a superhero.
Bang. The weirdest like motivation speech you can get.
That you're dead. I'll kill you.
She's taking the American approach.
Oh, but all right. What else did you guys want to talk about the movie? Because we've hit most of my big theories.
How did they get home?
do they get home? That's a good point. They just end it all pretty.
They end it with them in orbit around the Earth. I'm sure the answer is sailor teleport, but it always.
But do they have the energy for that?
Exactly. It always irked me. They just cut to credits while they're just floating in space.
Who's gonna?
You're like, okay, you saved Earth. How are you getting home?
What if your oxygen won't last that long? Like there were so many flowers.
Like, how long do you need to power back up to teleport?
Oh, that, and also
Can
like
they teleport
by the time that they are in the orbit, they're on like a rock.
Like, if that falls, that's still going to be pulled towards Earth's gravity and burn up.
So they're going to get incinerated whether they like it or not.
They have to teleport off that rock, and they're not telling us if they do.
Right? It's like, is there a season 2? Find out, kids.
What? You know what? Here's my headcanon. Since fucking Tuxedo Mask decides to pull out all the stops, he just uses pocket rocks.
Oh, calls the generals?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. That's our official name for them on this channel.
That is so good.
Just wah! And like,
Pocket rocks.
everyone's like, oh my god, Tuxedo Mask, you're so good at this.
Pocket sand.
Pocket rocks. I really want to cosplay the Shin Tenno. I love those guys. They're amazing.
They're very good.
We need
Specifically, I want to do the heavenly generals, not them being icky.
Evil.
the 4 heavenly kings.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But overall, it is kind of an unsatisfying ending whenever you do kind of wonder if they make it off the rock.
I mean, obviously they do.
I guess they make it off the rock, but
Obviously they do.
someone decided that was cutting room floor material.
It was not important.
Apparently, yeah, the loving, like, running, like, we made it, we're back to Chibiusa. They saw it was all about Chibiusa. They're like, cut it.
We don't need that.
You know what? For the Sailor Moon R movie, where Sailor Moon R is Chibiusa's introduction, Chibiusa's irrelevant in this movie. And as a Chibiusa hater, I appreciate it.
That is literally the only thing that I fucking hate about the 3rd movie is the fact that it is centered around fucking Chibiusa.
I love the 4th season, and I hate that it's centered around it.
Because the 4th season's so good, but it has her as a protagonist, and it sucks.
She's
much
also a
more
4,
likable.
so
She's much more likable in season 4. But like in Sailor Moon R, Chibiusa, death.
when literally anything before Black Lady,
Yeah, no, I don't want to deal with it. Shut the fuck up.
stop talking. Just stop talking.
You're 5. Be quiet.
The adults are talking. Shut the hell up.
What do you mean you're 900? No.
Punts. This is why your mother doesn't love you. Why dad left.
I'm still just mad that it's not called Promise of the Rose.
Yeah, none of the. I literally, so when I was making the like graphic for the Loki takeover thing, I literally was like, let me just double check that this is like the actual
Name.
titles for everything. And that's why I had to put Sailor Moon R, the movie, Sailor Moon Super S, the movie, all
And then
etc. etc.
And then I still shoehorned it into the title.
I would have too, to be fair.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not letting it go. Wait till you get to Hearts and Ice. I'm going to be all about, now I'm going to make a theory just around it.
See, Hearts on Ice makes me now think of like Yuri on Ice, and I can't.
It sounds like it should be an ice skating
Exactly.
special.
You know,
And I guess technically it is, but like,
I always just, because I didn't know that one was Hearts on Ice until I was older. So that one for me was always just like the Snow Queen one.
same.
just so funny. Because I didn't
For
even
me-
know it was based on the Snow Queen.
For me, it was the one that Mamoru decided to practice his fucking English. Do you not? Did you watch the Japanese version?
No.
In the Japanese version, when
thought we
he's
were both
fucking
serious.
Santa,
You're
right. And he comes in and he's like, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. And then he like strips like the
Happy
fucking stripper he
New Year.
is. And a Happy New Year. And it's literally,
that is in English in the Japanese stuff.
Yeah.
Or the
And it's
I
Japanese
did not
version
know
of
that.
it.
It's awful.
Oh my god,
I was so confused where you were going.
That's why I was like, have you not? Yeah, that movie in fucking Japanese is wild.
I'll have to
But
watch
you know
it before
what?
next
It
week.
makes it a Christmas.
Hall
Dude.
Mat. Someone please do it at Hall Mat. I'm begging you. Someone at the
My
Christmas
lineup- My lineup's full already. I'm sorry.
Darn. Okay, and I know this is just kind of me being mad. I was kind of upset though that Usagi coming back, and yes, it is Sailor Moon R, which is Sailor Moon romance, which is all about Mama being a dick, honestly. But sorry, I just have a whole gripe against that season. Circling back. The fact that the inner scouts didn't help bring Usagi back, that it was just Mamo that he talked to. Like, why couldn't he have made himself seen to everybody? I don't know. It kind of upset me. It kind of made them less important.
Because they were on the verge of dying, homie.
They were.
They just had their shit choked out.
But
Yeah.
I just said like
Scouts are still barely alive. And also, I
just-
just think it boils down to that the relationship between Fiore
Oh.
and I almost said Darien being central to the plot of the movie. It's like that's their resolution as friends. It's like this is Fiore being like, I'm not mad at you. We're okay. We're still friends. This is me. This is my redemption with our one-on-one relationship of I'm saving your girlfriend's life. Because I don't hate you anymore.
And I guess I don't hate her.
Exactly.
Even though you're
I
dating
love
her and
you
not
so
me.
much, I'll save the person I hate.
Which is great because the whole like I don't remember if it's in the old one or not, but in the new dub, after he says you will all be incinerated with me, I think it's either after or before, I don't remember actually. But he says, if I can't have Mamoru, no one can. You will all be incinerated with me.
Delicious.
And I'm like, love the homosexual agenda in this. But then his whole like, fine, you can have Mamoru. I understand, Mamoru, that this is your choice to be with her, not. Also, I'm dead.
Yeah, I was rewatching and I'm like, so is he dying when he's like somersaulting off into space?
I think so.
I had that question too. I'm like, is he gonna come back? Are we gonna see him again?
I used to think he just reverted to being a child. I think he dies.
I think he dies. I have always thought that he died. Because that's his life essence that he is giving.
So you think it's just like the way they animated like him?
Yeah, him just like yeeting away.
Yeah, like it's that. I guess this is
Ollieing out.
I watched the movie with my partner and they lost it when that came up.
Especially because he's like tuck and roll position.
It's like fetal position. Just
See, I always thought that he was coming back, but now that you guys say that, I'm like, damn, he did die.
No, I'm fully convinced that he like is dead.
like upon my most recent rewatch, I think he's dead. Up until rewatch, I was like, he's reverting to a child and starting his life over.
I think like
But
the
again,
first
that's
time,
that mental jump.
I think the first time that I ever like watched it, maybe the first few times, I probably thought the same thing, and then I guess like, whatever years happened jaded me enough that later on watches, I was like, no, that motherfucker is dead.
Death.
He is dead. Partly also because, presumably, because the Cassinian flower is right here, she's over his heart.
Yeah,
Oh, I never thought about her
She's
placement.
fused with his heart.
that makes sense.
So going
So-
against her is literally giving up his life.
Literally a heart attack. Congestive heart failure.
Literally. Kind of wild to think about. And then I could say, and then whenever was left of him, he gave to Usagi to restore the crystal.
Exactly.
Though-
And then he ollied out into space.
He went yeet.
Yeah.
No, that-
I.e. heaven.
I don't know. I always just think that's so interesting because the silver crystal's supposed to be the light in the universe. So it's like, would that have meant that Sailor Chaos had gone like out of control?
I think because the life essence that he gave is like the purest form of his love.
That's cute.
Because he goes from his grown up
He's like
version
in
to
his
his
innocent,
kid version.
his most innocent
Yeah.
form when he's getting life energy.
So I think
Aw.
it's still the love of the universe.
That's actually really sweet when you think about it.
It's still gay though.
Yeah, it's
gay as-
how.
Oh my gosh. But that's such like it's so cute. He wants
It's
to
really wholesome.
Like honestly, if you were to watch, if you just had the synopsis of the story where it was like two kids meeting, one of them has to go away for a long time, one of them comes back,
Mhm.
they continue the friendship, one of them dies. That's actually like that's a really sad kind of innocent story.
Yeah.
It's not what happened, but like it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm kicking my little feetsies at this. It's so wholesome.
It speaks to this being, I think, one of the like very like exemplary stories of Sailor Moon and being like love and friendship are the core of everything.
Yeah.
No matter what, no matter who you are and who the other person.
It's always at the core of the friendship with the scouts, the friendship with Mamo, the friend into love. Like that's always going to be back at the core of the story.
And I would like to point out that I know that we've been, or at least I have been, making absolute fun of it for being as gay as it is. But like in reality, it's all handled very delicately for something that was made in the 90s by Japan.
Mhm.
Like it's even the Senshi's reaction of when Ami is like, "Oh, I didn't realize that Mama was like that." They're not disgusted by it. They're just like, "Oh, what? Really? You think so? Like, let's have a discussion about this." And it's never like, "Ugh,
Yeah.
gross."
It's kind of beautiful in a way. Like, especially for thinking about the time period and everything. Like,
I mean, Sailor Moon has always been very open, especially like Usagi herself. She had a love
Lucky is the
confession.
bi icon.
Yeah, she had a love confession. And
definitely.
she handled it beautifully. in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I love that scene.
I know exactly from the start, right?
Where
That's-
she's like, "I'm sorry, I don't feel the same way about you, but we can still be friends." And I'm
It's
like,
so,
it's lovely.
I just
More people
love
need
that.
to be like that.
So good. All right. Well, anything else before we start to wrap up? I still am mad at the movie title, but we already went over that.
Ma'am, let it go.
Fine. That was my last jab.
Make like Elsa.
They're happy.
Yes. Thank you. Well, I know that we're gonna go over it again with the second and the third movies. So
Oh, we're just going to fight all night.
yeah, it's fine.
Fine. And to be fair, and okay, we already ranked the villains out of the top 3, but it's like, I don't know. Who would I'm trying to rank though all of my villains, but I'm also like in a span the relationships that they have to the scouts, which one's the most interesting? I think this is the most interesting out of all the movies, just kind of end on a thought.
As far as engagement, I would agree.
Yeah.
Because both Queen Kagyu or Princess Kagyu and Queen Badiano, they're very much
Removed.
away. Yeah, they're very removed from the situation. Whereas Fiore and Cassinian, by I guess technically proximity, are right there in it.
Yeah,
And Kagyu literally is a cold-hearted bitch. Like
it's fair.
literally. So
Oh, I did have a question for you guys. Does this movie ever get recalled or mentioned again, or like at all
no.
in the series?
No, I don't
None
think
of
any
the
of the
movies
movies do.
I was gonna ask because I'm like trying to recall anyone mentioned Fiore, anyone mentioning anything about this, and I'm like, I don't remember anything.
Also goes to my not canon Usagi and Mamo meeting, because the way I love all the movies and I think they can be fit into the canon, but I think they were also written so that they could be one-offs completely separate from the canon.
If you think of the landscape of the time, it makes sense because they couldn't always sell to like Blockbuster an entire series, which had over 200 episodes, but they could sell 3 movies.
Yeah, it's exactly like you were saying. For especially overseas audience, the 3 movies were people's first intro into what Sailor Moon was.
And it is all very much introductory. Every single movie starts with an intro of here are the Senshi, here's what they are, here's what they do. Everything else is continued on. You just you take that information and you just go with it.
Yeah. What would you guys say was the point just probably to try to get more fans of Sailor Moon by trying a new format in movie media?
I've always thought of it like, there was the Pokemon series, and then the Pokemon movie. It was to the acclaim of the series' popularity, but yes, also to reach new, broader audiences. They said, okay, we have to have a generalized storyline that doesn't heavily rely on existing lore. So, I've kind of always paralleled to just that era of 90s anime. That was their formula.
Mm.
Here's our series, and then this is how we do movies.
That's an interesting idea.
I think also I'm trying to think of what this would qualify as, but the other two movies, I right off the bat can tell you that they're based on fairy tales.
Yeah.
Because the third movie is the Pied Piper, where as well as Sugar Plum Fairies, etc., etc. And then the second movie is literally Princess Kaguya. That is the literal thing. I think technically this one is based on maybe the Scarlet Flower, but that's a stretch probably. But I think it's A, trying to get more of an audience, B, probably Toei / Nooko wanting to do something that is not necessarily canon, but still could be canon,
Mhm.
and just reaching out of their comfort zone because I feel like after the movies, the animation changes. So after you have a movie, after the R movie, I feel like the rest of the series changes the animation. After the Super movie, the series changes. So
I get that.
Yeah.
it's almost like an evolutionary push for the actual animators. This is what we want to do. We want to try a new style. Is this going to work? And I think it's the least expensive version of trying a style.
Hadn't thought of it like that. I like that.
I like that a lot.
Because technically, if you want to try a style with a series, you're committed to however many episodes that series is. You
Yeah.
can do whatever the fuck you want on one movie.
Because even just down to how the girls attacked, how we were talking about earlier, how Mercury literally does her attack and yeets it at someone with
Yeah,
one
it's
arm.
straight. Mm-hmm.
It's the coolest thing ever, and I'm like, where was this? It had so much more of a fan base if you acted this cool.
Or even the fucking scepter. That was the one that blew my mind, where she just laser beam and then, and I'm like, bro.
Yeah, okay, it's a space laser.
As a kid, I had that scepter, and if you don't think I went around my house, that movie was life-changing. Oh my gosh, but all right, I guess with that, it's time to end our episode. Loki, you want to take us out?
Yes. So this brings us to the end of our show. Thank you for joining us for episode 15 of season 2. We'd like to thank our guest Alexis for joining us today for our Moony Mayhem. And as always, our fellow Moonies, make sure to follow us on all of our socials. You can find those in our link tree in our description. And don't forget to join us next Friday as we go on another Moony adventure with movie 2 at from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. And that also continues Loki Takeover Month. And you can find me pretty much everywhere as the Comfy Witch.
I got it. There we go.
Yeah, literally most of my shit is the Comfy Witch. So
yay, Loki Takeover. Woohoo! But excited to have you as my co-host for this month. And then Alexis, would you like to go?
Yeah. Thank you for having me again. It was really fun. I hope I can continue to come and chat with y'all about all the Sailor Moon mayhem. I am Radski on most social medias, which is R4DSki. I'm a scene kid. It's pretty much the same thing as on the screen right now. It's pretty much the same on everything except my TikTok I think has a 0 on the end of it. But It's linked on my Instagram, which is where I'm most active.
Yay. All right. Awesome. Thank you guys. And then I can do this for myself. There we go. As always, I have been your host, Michi. You can find my personal socials at MEW21 for Eternal Mooncast. As of today, we are officially a Twitch and YouTube exclusive platform. We are part of the YouTube podcast. Previously recorded content for our show comes out Moony Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. We appreciate any likes, comments, follows, or however you would like to support our show in your own way. We do read all the comments, by the way. I make sure to read them on YouTube, so I hope you guys have fun. And I also try to go back and read the live comments or try to participate myself. And everybody does whenever we get a chance. As a quick reminder, these are just our personal opinions, and we celebrate and respect all respectful Moony opinions here. We are working hard on the show to be a place for Moonies to come together and discuss their theories and love Sailor Moon. Remember, as Sailor Moon once said, I wasn't always fighting for love and justice. I was fighting for my friends and loved ones. Good night.
Night.